So, very good morning, friends. I am going to welcome you once again in a class of literary terms series that I have begun last week. And today, in that series, I would like to discuss one very vital topic, literary term, that is dissociation of sensibility. This dissociation of sensibility, as you know, was propounded by T.S. Eliot, was born in 1888 and survived till 1965. Now, before I begin to discuss this dissociation of sensibility, I would like to ask, what is this sensibility? Or who do we call sensible? Sensibility is nothing but a man who is a blend of thought and feeling, who is having the balance between his thought and feelings. A man with a balance with the brain and blood. Generally, what happens in literature, if I start to write anything, either of its faculties start to work. Whether I'm writing an essay or being a prose writer, my brain would act more than the blood. Or it may be, if I'm writing poetry, my emotions, my feelings will overpower my other faculties. But if there is a blend of thought and feelings, that condition is called unification of sensibility. That is called unification of sensibility. But what exactly is this dissociation of sensibility? What propelled T.S. Eliot to use this term dissociation of sensibility, and who he was referring to? In his influential essay, The Metaphysical Poets, that was published in 1921, Eliot argued that whereas in Donne and other pre-revolutionary poets, to quote, there is a direct sensuous apprehension of thought or a recreation of thought into feeling. And this is what he called unification of sensibility, we can call it. Means he was praising Donne and the poets of his time, that is metaphysical poets. And in their praise, he said, in their poetry, in their write-ups, there we can see there is a unification of thought and feelings. They are unified. But further he writes, but from the time of John Milton and Dryden, to quote, a dissociation of sensibility set in from which we have never recovered. This is what he said. And he further added, to quote, John Donne and the other metaphysical poets of the earlier 17th century, like the Elizabethans and Jacobean dramatists, possessed a mechanism of sensibility which could devour any kind of experience, and they manifested a direct sensuous apprehension of thought and felt their thought as immediately as the odor of a rose. Means they were so having a nice blend of thought and feelings that you can, the moment they're thinking about a rose, in their write-ups also you can smell a rose. There was a complete blend of thought and feelings in their poems. And this dissociation of sensibility from emotion and sensuous perception, according to Eliot, was greatly aggravated by the influence of John Milton and John Dryden. And most later poets in English either thought or felt, but did not think and feel as an act of unified sensibility. This is what he said. Now, before I leave and finish this discussion, I would like to cite with the example what was so good in metaphysical poetry and why T.S. Eliot is lavishing all praises on them. Because, as you know, that metaphysical poets were known for using their conceit, wit and conceit. And we will ask, पूछोगे क्या होता है wit and conceit? Conceit is nothing but two heterogeneous ideas yoked by violence together. When not homogeneous, heterogeneous ideas, two different ideas are yoked by violence together. And we can see it in the poems of John Donne. I have a poem for you, you can see. This poem is by John Donne, The Flea. In 1633, he wrote this flea. Oh, stay, 3 lives in one flea spare, where we almost nay more than married are. This flea is you and I, and this our marriage bed and marriage temple is. In this poem, John Donne writes, as his beloved moves to kill the flea, the speaker stays her hand and asking her to spare the 3 lives in the flea. ना इस मच्छर को मत मारो. His life, इस मच्छर के अंदर 3 जिंदगियां हैं भाई. In this flea, 3 lives in this flea. His life, her life, and the flea's own life. Because in the flea, he says, where their blood is mingled, they are almost married. No, more than married rather. And the flea is their marriage bed and marriage temple mixed into one. So this blood, that this mosquito has sucked your blood, it has sucked my blood, so there is a mingling and union of our blood. तो सोचो कि मच्छर जैसे विषय को भी तुरंत इंस्टेंटली इतने बढ़िया से जहाँ की थॉट एंड फीलिंग दोनों कंबाइन हो रहे हैं. That is why T.S. Eliot was lavishing praises that there was unification of sensibility in their poems. So this is where the conceit has been used. This is where the thought and feelings both are combined together. And this is what is known as unification of sensibility. And T.S. Eliot was lavishing praises upon the metaphysical poets, and he said, this exactly is missing in all the successive poets. This is what is missing in the rest of the poets who followed, who came after the metaphysical poets. I am still searching for that, but I am not getting that. This is what he meant. Thank you very much, friends.